Boom shakalaka, this is the scariest chart I have ever seen for Bitcoin. It relies on Fibonacci numbers, which we know work, and I have never seen anyone talking about it. You'll definitely want to stay tuned. What's up everyone, Randall here from Crypto Love. Today's video, we're going to be taking a look at this chart here, why this is the scariest chart I think I've ever seen for Bitcoin, and why nobody's talking about it. Also, because I like to leave you guys with a happy ending, we have a few nice charts towards the end of the episode. Before we get into it, guys, make sure to like, subscribe, click the notification bell. Also, come join us over on Twitter at The Crypto Love, where every week we give away one of these sweet shirts. And today's episode is sponsored by AutoStake, a unique and working DeFi concept where all purchased tokens are automatically staked and begin earning rewards immediately. Users are then able to unstake up to 20% of their holdings every 7 days, which prevents large dumps, encourages diamond hand hodlers, and disrupts front-running bots since their tokens get staked too. AutoStake launched this past Friday and already has a healthy community with over 1,000 BNB in locked liquidity and over 600,000 auto tokens already staked. Unlike many other DeFi projects, AutoStake strives for full transparency with a fully doxed team, contracts audited by TechRate, and regular updates from their CEO on Telegram. In the near future, AutoStake will also be releasing a functional DEX with all fees paid to auto-stakers. If you're looking for the next DeFi gem with built-in risk management, look no further. Click the link in the pinned comment and fill your bags with AutoStake today. Now, guys, on to this chart here. This is the scariest chart I think I've ever seen for Bitcoin. But first, how did I find this chart? Well, I made a video maybe a week or so ago about the Pi Cycle Top indicator and how what's happening with the Pi Cycle Top indicator up here doesn't look a lot like what happened when we had the double peak previously. As you can see here with the double peak, there is not a very wide gap between this green and orange line back in 2013. But if we take a look here where we are now, we can see a very wide gap between the orange and green line. Now, if we take a look at a couple other places where we had wide gaps, like back in 2018 or here back in 2014, both of those times there was about a 3-year lag until the next peak. And I was taking a look at that and I was saying, that's pretty interesting, because based on the Pi Cycle Top indicator, which has accurately predicted the top 4 times, within 3 days it's predicted the top 4 times. Well, that looks like we may have a bit longer than a peak towards the end of the year. And I also want to take a look at it and see if it was narrowing at all, which it's not. So I was looking at the Pi Cycle Top indicator, and then I was reading a little bit about it, and it started talking about further down the rabbit hole, the Golden Ratio Multiplier article, which includes a section on the Pi Cycle Top indicator. Now, this indicator is available on the same website. Look into Bitcoin. You can click charts up here and you can see all of their charts. They have a whole bunch of them. We're actually going to go through all the charts today. So if we take a look at the Golden Ratio Multiplier, this thing could potentially be scary. Now, hopefully it's wrong. I hope so. But it could potentially be scary. Now, why do I say it's scary? Well, if we see here, we just bounced off of this purple line, which is a 3 times upper bull high. Now, last time we bounced off of this dotted line, and the time before that, the dotted line above it, and the time before that, the dotted line above that, and the time before that, the dotted line above that. Well, if you take a look, and I just have to scroll down so you can see behind my head, those are actually 5x, 8x, 13x, 21x. Now, if you are savvy with math and you've played around with Fibonacci numbers before, you know 1 plus 2 equals 3, 2 plus 3 equals 5, 3 plus 5 equals 8, 5 plus 8 equals 13, 8 plus 13 equals 21. Now, based on this, it seems like at each peak, it actually goes down a whole order of magnitude based on Fibonacci numbers. So this one was off the 21x line, this one was off the 13x line, off the 8x line, off the 5x line, which would mean that the most recent peak, if we continue that, would be off of the 3x line, which is this purple line that we just bounced off of a couple months ago. Now that, my friends, is pretty scary, because if it so happens that this is true and that is the top, then the next top might be even lower than that, which as of right now would be $68,000. We may not be going up to $300,000, which is scary. But because, like I said, I like to leave you guys with a happy ending, well, let's take a look at some other charts, huh? The first thing is, before we get into the good news, just a couple other bad news type of things. Bad news bears, you know? Well, first thing, the 200-week moving average heat map. So this shows the percent monthly increase of the 200 weekly moving average. And as you can see, between peaks, it's blue. At peaks and at this double peak back in 2013, it only ever got down to like green, barely. Now, if we take a look at where we are, we never actually got up to red this time. So that may tell us that, hey, we didn't see a peak. But on the same thing, we're back into blue, which is like time between peaks, which suggests, or at least cooperates with this pi cycle top theory that I have. But for all of you guys who are boo-hooing, just recognize the number of profitable days in Bitcoin, like literally, unless you bought the top, you're doing well. It turns out that of 4,021 days you could have been holding Bitcoin, you're profitable 3,916 of them, which is 97.4% of the time you are profitable holding Bitcoin, which is probably one of the best possible investments you could ever make. Now, let's look at some other charts. The 2-year MA multiplier. Now, previously, this has shown anytime it's above the 2-year moving average, this red line, great time to sell. Anytime it's below, great time to buy. And as you can see, the last great buy was back in March, the COVID buy-in. This time we didn't even get down that low. But we never even broke above the 2-year moving average. So we never really had a selling blow-off type peak here. Now, what does this tell me? Again, if we take a look here, the end of this buying period, right here, January of 2012, if we go 2 years later, January 2014, that's the absolute top. Okay, well, let's look at it here. We have December of 2015 or January 2016. We go 2 years later, January 2018, the top. Now, we have this one here, May of 2019, May of 2021, the top right there. But we do also have another bottom right here. So potentially it might be off of this bottom right here, which would put it around April of 2022. So that could potentially be putting the peak somewhere out ahead of us. And really, I like this chart because this kind of shows that, guys, we haven't even come close to touching what would be the reasonable top. As a matter of fact, the spot where we are right now, this is exactly replicating what happened back here in 2013, where it actually went up almost 2 bars above this middle line. And here we can see we went up almost 2 bars above the middle line. And then we came back down to almost 2 bars below the middle line, which we bounced off of 2 bars below the middle line. And then that would put us basically right here about $177 before Bitcoin went up to 1,000 and 1,100. So almost a 10x after that. So potentially we have almost a 10x to look at. And for you guys who are, thinking, is it actually a good time to be in Bitcoin? If you guys bought in the past couple of weeks when I was telling you guys it's an absolutely insane time to buy in when the Puell Multiple was flagging in green down here, this has historically been the best time to buy Bitcoin, period. Anytime the Puell Multiple flags, which it just did back on June 27th, and we made a whole episode about that, well, that's the absolute best time. So you just need to hodl. Just wait. It'll take care of itself. And I guess the big chart that everybody looks to, and the one that everybody is waiting to see if it comes to fruition, is the stock to flow model. The one that takes a look at the total amount of Bitcoin already mined to the incoming supply after every halving. The price based on this model should go up an order of magnitude. Now, this model has been verified historically. Doesn't mean it's going to be doing it in the future, but we're all holding our breath. Because as you can see here, right now it's green. Last time it was green, we were still below the line back in August of 2017, still below the line. And even here, we weren't at a peak yet in green. So we'll kind of have to see where this goes over the next couple weeks to couple months. Because guys, if we take a look at the distance down here, the model variance, it is the farthest variance from the stock to flow model, which arguably would make it the best time to buy it if you believe in this model. So all of those things combined, it does look like we are in some very interesting times for Bitcoin. I don't know if the price is going to go up. I don't know if the price is going to go down. But I can tell you, fundamentally, everything looks great for Bitcoin. As a buying opportunity, now seems like pretty much the best time you could possibly buy it. But, you know, the market always likes to disappoint, so we'll kind of have to keep an eye out for that. If you guys did enjoy it, make sure to like, subscribe, click the notification bell, and I'll catch you later.